Hi guys, today's lesson is going to be 8-4, multiplying special cases. And our objective for the day is going to be to find the sum or the square of a binomial and the product of a sum and difference. So we're going to see two special cases. Now, our pattern for squaring a binomial, if we see that we have something being a plus or minus b squared, we can rewrite it as a squared plus 2 times ab plus b squared. Or we could just use FOIL like we have in the last section. But these are shortcuts that you can take to square binomials. FOIL first. So we're going to do FOIL first. We're going to show you we've got n minus 7, and that whole term is being squared. So it's n minus 7 times n minus 7. So we do our rainbows. First is n squared, outer minus 7n, inner minus 7n, last plus 49. And when we simplify, we have n squared minus 14n plus 49. And now we can see our first term is our a squared, n squared. Our middle term, we are subtracting 14n, which is 2 times a times b. And the third term is just our b squared, so negative 7 squared is 49. All right, so let's just use that pattern with 2x squared, or 2x plus 9, the quantity squared. So we're going to do our FOIL. First is 4x squared, outer 18x, inner 18x, and last 81. All right, combine like terms. We've got 4x squared plus 36x plus 81. Okay. Remember, at any time, pause these videos, work a problem on your own, check your work with our solution. So we have x plus 5, the quantity squared. Distribute, we've got x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25. When we combine like terms, we have x squared plus 10x plus 25. All right. Our last example, 3n minus 1, the quantity squared. So 3 times 3 is 9, 9n squared, minus 3n, minus 3n, plus 1. So when we combine our like terms, 9n squared minus 6n plus 1. Now, do you have to memorize this pattern? No, you can always FOIL it. But when we get to later on in this chapter, if you can recognize this relationship, it'll save you some time when we go to factor binomials out. All right, problem 2 is going to be the application of squaring binomials. So our first example, we have a square outdoor patio that is surrounded by a brick walkway, and we want to know what is the area of the walkway. And then our second part of the question is, what is the area going to be if it is 4 feet wide instead of 3 feet wide? So we have...
What is that?
6.
Where did that come from?
So we have a square patio, and as we look at that, we've got one large square and a smaller square inside. And we want to know just what the space between them is going to be. So the small square is going to be subtracted from the big square. The small square is x by x, so that's just x squared. But our larger square is going to be x plus 6, because you have 3 feet on each side of the patio. So we have x plus 6 squared. All right, so we can FOIL that first term. we've got x plus 6 times x plus 6, and we're still subtracting that x squared. So we have x squared plus 6x plus 6x plus 36 minus x squared. We can combine like terms. We have an x squared and a minus x squared, so they're going to cancel out. And we have 6x plus 6x, which gives us 12x plus 36. All right. Now we still have our second part of our question, which is what if it is is 4 feet wide instead of 3 feet wide? So our first part is going to be x plus 8 squared, because we have the sidewalk on both sides of the patio. And we're still subtracting that x squared of the patio. So we distribute x squared plus 8x plus 8x plus 64 minus x squared. We combine our like terms. Again, x squared and minus x squared cancel out. And 8x plus 8x is 16x plus 64. All right, example B. We have, again, one of these two nested squares. So we have a large square, and we're taking away a small square in the center of it. So we have x plus 5, the quantity squared, minus x squared. So when we distribute, x times x is x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25. The zeros are combined in one step. The x squared and the minus x squared cancel out yet again, and we're left with 10x plus 25. We're going to be skipping problem 3. It's annoying. And going directly on to problem 4, which is finding the product of a sum and difference. In this case, we have a plus b times the quantity a minus b. And when we FOIL that, we're going to find that our middle term is going to cancel out. And so we're going to be left with a squared minus b squared. So let's do this first one with FOIL. We have x squared minus 9x plus 9x plus or minus 81. When we combine our like terms, we see that plus 9x and minus 9x cancel out, and we just have x squared minus 81. All right, so if you see that you are adding two terms that are exactly, one is adding, one is subtracting, they are the exact same terms, then you can use this strategy as a shortcut. So we see we are adding 6 plus m squared and 6 minus m squared. So we could take our time and do the FOIL for both steps. So we have 6m squared.
I went first.
Oh, you went first. Sorry, 36 minus 6m squared plus 6m squared plus m or minus m to the 4th power. All right, now our middle terms cancel out, and we're left with 36 minus m to the 4th. Again, you don't necessarily have to memorize this rule. If you are comfortable and quick with doing FOIL, you can go ahead and do that. I will recommend, though, that this rule comes back in later in the chapter when we are factoring, and being able to recognize these difference of squares will help you out at that point. So we have 9c squared plus 12c minus 12c minus 16. Combine like terms, we're left with 9c squared minus 16. All right, our last example, x squared minus 6 times x squared plus 6. X to the 4th power plus 6x squared minus 6x squared minus 36. Combine like terms, we have x to the 4th power minus 36. And that is our lesson for today. We'll also be skipping problem number 5 as well. See you all tomorrow.